some things I am really clear on, right? And I'm going to share some of those thoughts today, even though I have done several videos regarding our current immigration status in this country. Um, I am feeling, I don't like when people play in my face. That's what it is. Let's just keep it a buck and call it what it is. I don't like it when people play in my face. Okay. Time is the most valuable resource that we have. And when I tell you, when I feel like somebody is playing in my face, now the focus is on to get you not to play in my face. Even if I don't have no control over it, I'm going to try. I'm going to give it my best, right? And so I think I can speak for many when I say, and it doesn't matter what ethnic background you're from, it doesn't matter what cultural background you're from. At this point, if you are an American citizen, whether you were born here, whether you came from other countries and you went through the due process of becoming a legal citizen of this country through immigration status, I feel like most of us should all feel like we are being played with. Now, you've got our tax monies that are being used, whether they print money 40 going north or not, we still pay taxes as citizens if you work in this country. If you own property of any kind in this country, if you go for a driver's license or an identification in this country, if you buy food or you support businesses, there is always taxes or some type of stipend associated with you being reminded on a regular basis that guess what? It costs to live here. It costs to work here. It costs to have your feet planted in this country. And when you are bringing people from other countries, you've opened the borders and you have allowed and are still during this entire administration allowing people to come into this country unmonitored. And not only that, but then you provide them with the very resources that many citizens of this country have been screaming equality about for, I would go to say further than decades, centuries, half a century, whatever time you're living in. This extends back. They just call it something different at some point, right? So when it comes to people coming into this country, and I'm gonna tell you what really burns my noodles, what really pisses me off at the end of the day is when you have people that have served in military branches and have given any type of time, energy, and life, right, to this country, to protect this country, to serve for this country. And then they come back, if most of them are deployed at some point during their terms, when they come back, they don't have that security. We have an epidemic of homelessness in this country at this point that is being exacerbated, and it is being worsened by all of these bodies coming in, and they're getting top priority with housing, food, the basic necessities. You got vehicles. We have in Chicago, and I'm sure it's not just in Chicago, but you have certain sanctuary cities and states that are building whole communities with homes, whether they're small homes or whether they are regular sized homes to accommodate small families and large families from the ground up. Where is this money coming from? I think we know it's a rhetorical question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Where is the money coming from? And why are they getting precedence over those that toil and sacrifice and lay stake to claim to the soil on this land in this country? How and why? With very little monitoring coming or due process of vetting these people. They're bringing drugs, crime, rejects, and there are many countries that will not allow them to come back. So they're throwaways. But the United States seems to be welcoming these people with open arms. And then when you talk about just a normal regular citizen that was born and raised and work and, create families on this soil, you have our veterans. Now, I don't know to me, that sting from that slap in the face, just being a citizen, not have serving in armed forces. I'm grateful and I appreciate those that have and that do. But I can't imagine what that sting must feel like for those vets that come back and they have to fight for every nook and cranny that they get, the crumbs, if you will. And now we're not even dealing with crumbs because a lot of our vets are homeless. So I know that people have probably seen the video that has gone viral, I'm sure by now, where there was a Venezuelan, allegedly, immigrant that went into a grocery store and left the receipt, I guess walked out before getting the receipt, and the person behind her or the cashier, don't know the whole story, but somebody picked up that receipt and they looked at it and they saw the balances. Now we're talking about after money has been spent. So what I don't hear a lot of is what the starting balance was, because the receipts, when you go to make purchases at stores, they show you the remaining balance, not the starting balance. So we're looking at $13,400, I think $1 and some change as the remaining balance for SNAP food, and $4,400 remaining balance of SNAP cash for immigrant. How many of these immigrants are receiving these types of funds? So now that's gone viral. Then there's so much commentary and so much material on the internet that is just exposing the disparities and the imbalance and the unfairness that is being imposed upon the citizens per the immigrants. That's a problem. And I've lived long enough to where I remember, even if I was a kid, the last time that I have a clear and vivid memory, I remember a time where the citizens spoke up. They act up and they cut up where you offended them. People weren't quiet. They didn't just walk on by like they didn't see what was going on. They didn't have the blinders on. They organized and they acted until they got different results. And we have so many more people that live in this country now than they did when I was a child. And we're not organizing. We're outraged, but we're not mad. Or if we're mad, we're not mad enough to do nothing about it. Everybody's just like, okay, yeah, I get it. No, that's messed up. Yeah, that's real messed up. But what can we do about it? I don't have the answers. I am very solution oriented. However, sometimes the problem is bigger than just one person. And in this situation, we definitely are dealing with some issues that while we've been distracted with all of these entertaining celebrities, all of this mumbo jumbo nonsense that doesn't affect our everyday life when it's all said and done, but we have succumbed to it over time. We have been super distracted while they're passing bills and putting in protections and passing hate crime bills for other cultures. And you're giving out billions of dollars, that's with a B, billions of dollars in aid, in funding, in resources to those that lay no stake to claim to this soil. Now, I don't know about nobody else, but the more I talk about it, the more pissed off I become. But as I stated, we can be as mad as we want to be, but what are we going to do about it? And this is definitely bigger than one person, right? So without further ado, let me look at my chat one more time, and then we're going to get off into the meat and potatoes of the live, right? And I just want to welcome everybody in. If you're coming through and watching the replay, if you would just be so kind to tap the like button to help. My small channel is still growing, and it really could help if, I could just be in the algorithm a little bit more. And from what I understand, the like button, pushing the like button is for free, helps that, right? So we got, so I want to give a little context before I start this particular video. And right now there's a lot of hustle and bustle on Chicago, right? Now, I'm not really sure, not really certain. I'm sure it's everywhere, but right now the attention lays on Chicago because I feel and I believe that there's a lot coming to light in Chicago at an accelerated rate, and the citizens of Chicago are becoming outraged to the point where they are definitely holding forums. They are speaking out. This is how you execute change. At the very least, bring awareness to what's going on.
Now, I've said this before. If you give me 3 meals, housing, child care, education, a voucher for $9,000, you know what? I come to Chicago too. And that's
I want to stop that for a second. And I'm going to be doing that quite a bit because words matter. And when you have people that are living these actual life experiences that have this inside information and bringing it to social media, you can pretty much legitimize and tell when people are passionate and being truthful about something, right? But one thing he said is, if y'all gave me all these things, I would relocate as well. You have people in this country that relocate to different states because different states are ran differently and they allow different allowances, have different laws, different tax rates. There's a lot of things that are, that vary from state to state, right? And so people relocate all of the time, but most of the time when they relocate, they are relocating because they're motivated to do so to acquire a better quality of life. And so these immigrants are no different. I don't blame the immigrants. I hold the government and the powers that be responsible for this because people can't do to them what you don't allow. Not only are they allowing it, they are making it super appealing. They are making it super attractive in order to do so. So why wouldn't they? Let's continue.
And that's what they're doing. They're telling people and they're sending money back to back to Venezuela to come to Chicago because they're saying, hey, the good times are rolling there. They're taking care of everybody. Now, when we have Venezuelans that are driving cars, where did they get a driver's license? Where did they get insurance from? And then you have Venezuelans being caught with drugs and guns. Where are they getting them from? Now, I've said this.
Okay, so let's break this down for a second. They get driver's licenses. I don't think a lot of them do have it. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I think a lot of them are given documentation, and that's what they're using as identification. And their leniency in the expectations of them identifying themselves, they don't match what the citizens of this country are required to do. When you get stopped by a police officer in a vehicle as a citizen, they don't just want your active and your current valid driver's license. They want your insurance, they want your registration. And in a lot of states, if the information does not match on all three documents, they will penalize you through a ticket. Even if the address is different and you moved and you haven't had an opportunity to go update that driver's license address to your current address, and it doesn't match either your registration or your insurance, if the cop is really feeling like he want to go by the book, you will get a citation for that. But you have people coming here into this country that are able to purchase vehicles on the taxpayers' dimes, go into housing. Now, let's talk about that for a quick second. I don't even have to go deep. Anyone that has ever bought property, you got to do everything but sell your soul. They cross your T's, dot your I's, put the squiggly lines in your S's. They want your blood type. They want your lineage. They want your job history for the past 25 years. They want all your business, your bank statements, your W-2s, your tax returns, all of that. But you got immigrants coming over here, and people, we don't even know who these people are. And they are laying to claim and are being given things that the citizens aren't closely privy to, without bearing everything that you have and letting everybody else all up into your business, your history. That means something. You can't even go into a bank and ask for a personal loan or a small business loan and expect to be approved without bearing your entire financial documented existence. And then when you do get it, the interest rate is so exorbitant that that's probably your last resort. Listen, the writing is on the wall. It doesn't take a literate person or a real smart person to realize what's going on here. But we're gonna still walk through this thing in my fashion, right? From what I've seen and the research that I've done and the conclusions that I am drawing. And I'm just going to share them with you. So this is all this is.